This is ASS Breaking News.
Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
Good evening. I'm ASS News correspondent Brock Jurgensen, filling in for ASS Man Bin Licken again, who unfortunately could not make it to the studio because he had to walk, and unfortunately he can't because his wife pegged him last night. Joining us tonight is a Islamic cleric who is going to make a big announcement tonight on our program. Thank you, Sheikh, for joining us tonight. What is this big announcement that you have for us this evening?
First and foremost, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All grace go by God. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The announcement that I want to make today to all of you is that we are issuing a fatwa on Chick-fil-A.
And sir, why is that?
Because they have poisoned one of our own, even though he is a disappointment, Siraj Hashmi, with their Jesus chicken.
Who is this Siraj Hashmi?
He is an unemployed, doctorate dropout, somewhat practicing Muslim who doesn't get up until 2 p.m. But he is a Muslim.
So why would you take this time to issue a fatwa against and potentially cripple the Islamic Christian Alliance by waging a fatwa and potential jihad on Chick-fil-A, especially in light of this lowlife, Siraj Hashmi?
Look, all Muslims, no matter how low they are valuable. I mean, even though he's a piece of shit, undeserving, unemployed, should have been a doctor, but is a shit poster, he deserves our full backing. And this is just a act of war and another crusade. Are you not on WhatsApp? If you're on WhatsApp, you'll see all the news is saying.
Oh, we'll have to exchange information, and I'll definitely get on WhatsApp because this is interesting.
Yes. I mean, no matter how useless a person can be, like Siraj Hashmi, no matter how late he wakes up, like after 2 p.m., like Siraj Hashmi does, no matter how unemployed a person can be who's supposed to be a doctor, like Siraj Hashmi, we are still here to fight for the people who are the lowest of the low.
So there's obviously a reputation that Chick-fil-A has and that they're anti-LGBTQ. Now, is there any shred of or thought in your mind that potentially Chick-fil-A may have targeted him for Siraj Hashmi, targeted Siraj Hashmi specifically because he might be flirting with the LGBTQ community?
We understand there are rumors of him being a gay incel lib, as well as being a useless, unemployed shit poster on Twitter and not a doctor. But these are just rumors. We first want to start this crusade, and if it comes to be, we'll throw him off a cliff. I mean, sorry, burn him alive.
Well, that obviously are. Let's hope that doesn't come to that. But have you actually consulted with Siraj Hashmi and his family, specifically his parents, about going down this route and issuing a fatwa against Chick-fil-A?
We contacted his father, but he is such a disappointment that his father goes, Siraj who? And it just goes to show that, in times like this, we will fight the good fight because we're family.
That's true. We are family. And Habibis, you're all family. Welcome
Absolutely.
to another episode of Habibi Power Hour. Jay, I can't fucking find it anywhere. I didn't play.
You're just going to have me sit here smiling at the camera for like 2 minutes.
Here. Yeah, let's.
Damn it, I should have just also said that he's a complete useless boomer on the computer That is a tarnish on the Pakistanis' good name of computer IT specialist. Not only are you not a doctor, but you also suck at IT.
I'm filing as the lead class representative a major class action lawsuit against the big tech giants, including Facebook, Google, and Twitter.
Trump Kennedy 2021. What does that shirt mean?
I think that JFK Jr. is still alive.
The guy who died in the plane crash in the late 90s? Think he's still alive?
I do.
And
I don't have friends. I got family.
Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What's going on, Habibis? I'm Siraj Hashmi.
I'm Mujahed Kobbe.
And then we're the Habibi Bros. Welcome to another episode of Habibi Power Hour. Now, before we get into all this stuff, of course, a few disclaimers. Habibis, we are entirely independent and self-funded, so we always appreciate your support. So if you haven't already, check us out on Patreon. The link's below. Obviously, give YouTube a sub. Follow Jay and I on Twitter. You can follow the Habibi Bros. That is at Habibi_Bros. You can find me on Twitter at Siraj A. Hashmi and Jay at AssLickin. How you doing tonight, Jay?
I am doing wonderful. It's actually been a really, really good day. It's very, very good. I got it right. I was able to hype myself up by knowing I was able to shit on you for the Open.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm very glad that we were able to do this because there are a lot of different things that came to mind for our potential cold open. And I realized that if we had gone down the route of this with family, I'm pretty sure the Habibis would riot and kill us both.
Well, it's one of your specialties, honestly. You know how to take a meme to, let's say, to the next level. That's what it is. It's a meme to the next level. And honestly, I don't think the Habibis would have as good of a time with this meme if it wasn't for you.
Also true.
Yeah.
But anyways, Carl gets in here and says chats are friends, but super chats are family. That's true. You're all family, Habibis. You're all family. Nothing is stronger than family. Man, big day. A lot of news happening today. Let's start off with the latest because Jay, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it looks like that Tucker Carlson might actually have, I guess, a little bit of backing here by his entire claim that he was spied on by the NSA. According to Jonathan Swan over at Axios, Tucker Carlson was talking to US-based Kremlin intermediaries about setting up an interview with Vladimir Putin shortly before the Fox News host accused the National Security Agency of spying on him. Now, those sources who talked to Axios said U.S. government officials learned about Carlson's efforts to secure the Putin interview, and Carlson learned that the government was aware of his outreach, and that's the basis of his extraordinary accusation, according to Axios, followed by a rare public denial by the NSA that he had been targeted. Now, obviously, there's still a lot ongoing, but this is the latest development in this whole saga. Jay, I'm curious, do you think the NSA was spying on him because of the Putin interview or in spite of the potential Putin interview?
I think in spite of, to be honest, like after what we know, what the NSA is capable of, and not only what they're capable of, what they've done in the past, it's honestly not so hard to believe that he was actually spied on, that they had his emails, that they were reading his emails, that they were giving it off to admin officials within the White House right now. But that doesn't go to say that he wasn't being spied on before in past administrations either. I think the NSA is actively spying on journalists, spying on everyday people, and we know this as a fact that they do that they spy on everyone. That's why I always go in incognito mode when I look up tentacle hentai porn.
Jay, I appreciate your candor and honesty because most people will never admit that they go into incognito mode for hentai. I certainly don't, because I want everyone to know my internet history.
You like to beat it off with your NSA agent, not in spite of them.
Yeah, I want to give them a challenge and say, hey, if you can get through this, you can get through anything. Axios, who is definitely not the publication Axios, says different Axios Habibis, put your 747s and vests away. Thank you for that. There's obviously concern here that, any journalist who reaches out to a foreign, whether it be a foreign adversary, a persona non grata by the U.S. government, or even someone, even within just even a friendly or ally government. I'm curious whether our government has spied on them as well. I mean, we already know that they have spied on journalists before. I'm curious for in cases like Megyn Kelly, who is the most recent American journalist at least in my short-term memory, since I'm a boomer, who actually interviewed and sat down with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Was she spied on? I would imagine she might have been. It seems impossible that she didn't. I don't know.
Right. No, I think they were. And then also Bart the Tree Guy brings up a good one too. James Rosen, Fox News, or Rosen. He's a big case that was shown to be spied on by the Obama administration because he was vocal or pursuing stories that made Obama look bad. And they also spy on our allies as well.
Oh, essentially 100% of the time.
Oh shit! I'm already out of.
Jesus, Jay, how are you already out?
I know.
Thank you for the dollar.
And we also had one other Habibi.
Travis says Siraj look. Oh, what were you stuffed?
Oh, we missed. Sorry,
animals going to be in the store. Josh, thank you, Josh. That's actually been something I've been thinking of doing for quite some time. I just I don't. Despite all this time I have being unemployed, I really don't have time for much, if you could believe it.
I know. When you wake up at 6 p.m. at night, what else is there to do instead of just get on gaming?
Yeah. I mean, seriously, that's all the time I have for. So let's see. We'll see what happens in that Tucker Carlson NSA saga. Now, was he spied on? We still don't have a whole lot of evidence to back it up, besides a he said, she said type of deal. But given the NSA's past, I would not put it past them that they actually spied on Tucker. Nate says the vans are already outside your homes. Thank you for that, Nate. All right, so another story that is just fucking insane happened basically after as I woke up, and this involved the tiny Caribbean nation of Haiti, in which the Haitian president, and I apologize for butchering his name, Jovenel Moise. He was shot dead by gunmen with assault rifles in his private residence overnight on Wednesday, sparking fears of a further descent into chaos in the impoverished Caribbean nation as a manhunt got underway. This, according to Reuters. Now, his wife was injured at first and then passed away at the hospital. Obviously, a very sad story. Have no idea how something like this can happen to such a high-ranking official, the fucking head of state. But one thing that is kind of interesting, and I will try to show you this, is this video that was ascertained and posted online of what seemed to be, I guess, potentially U.S. involvement. From what they say, it was DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, saying it was an operation. Let me just play the clip. All right, so it's unintelligible for the most part. You can't see shit, but apparently that clip is circulating around. Whether it's true or not, we have no idea. We'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go to the Haitian president's family. That's I mean, shit. You don't see a whole lot of presidential assassinations, Jay.
You don't, but at least it was, him and his wife, family stick together.
Oh my. Jay, this is how we go to hell, buddy.
You know what's hilarious? The news of this broke way before you woke up. You woke up to this at like 2 p.m. Wait, would it have been like 4:30 over in... You're like, I woke up to this, making it seem like it broke some sort of time in the AM so early in the morning.
I fucking hate you, Jay. Bart the Tree Guy says it's the perfect crime because even if Biden ordered it, he wouldn't remember. Jeremy says that video was about as useful as every UFO video ever. I know, right? So
absolutely true.
I mean, I don't put much stock in it. I find it interesting, obviously, with the Clinton Foundation's ties to Haiti following the 2010 Haitian earthquake. Mm-hmm. I think everybody had the same thought. Hillary.
Right. I wonder what he had on him.
I have he fucking tweeted out, I have information that will lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton.
Did somebody already make that meme? I mean, come on.
Oh, no.
That should have been done.
Dude,
it
had to have been done. It would be a shame if it hasn't been done. Someone's on it. I'm sure Prison Mitch is on it. We know he's on it. Anyways, speaking of people showing up at the president's door, the president of the United States wants to show up at your door.
A special focus on 5 ways to make gains in getting those of you who are unvaccinated vaccinated. Because here's the deal. We are continuing to wind down the mass vaccination sites that did so much in the spring to rapidly vaccinate those eager to get their first shot and their second shot, for that matter, if they needed a second. Now we need to go to community by community, neighborhood by neighborhood, and oftentimes door to door, literally knocking on doors to get help to the remaining people protected from the virus.
So there's that, followed up by Jen Yazuki.
In more healthcare settings and respond to hotspots. The president will outline 5 areas his team is focused on to get more Americans vaccinated. 1, targeted community by community door-to-door outreach to get remaining Americans vaccinated by ensuring they have the information they need on how both safe and accessible the vaccine is. 2, a renewed emphasis on getting the vaccines to more primary care doctors and physicians, something that we've seen.
Maybe, Jay, and call me crazy, casting doubt on the vaccine to begin with simply because it was being produced by the Trump administration. I don't know. Maybe created a little bit of fear in people thinking that getting the vaccine would cause them sickness or illness. Or maybe it was the FDA pausing the Johnson & Johnson vaccine over literally fucking nothing, like a 1 in a million chance of getting a blood clot. That caused a shattering of confidence in the fucking vaccine. But I'm crazy, right?
It could have been Fauci on there constantly downplaying the effectiveness of vaccines. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, even a week ago, he was up there saying that, you know what, vaccines aren't 100%. So even if you're vaccinated, make sure you're wearing a mask. So, God damn it, I don't have any more drink. I need to go get another one.
Go get another drink.
All right, I'm coming right back.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a man drink. I'm in my jorts.
Let's check out a few comments. Welcome to the show, obviously. Abe Eckstein, thank you, says, is he going to show up at my door and whisper into my ear? Look, if Joe Biden whispered the vaccine into your ear, yeah, I get it. Yeah. If he whispered it into Jay's butthole, I'm sure Jay would get it. By the way, we're both vaccinated, so it doesn't really matter. But if that was... let's see. What else we got?
No. See, that's where you're wrong. I would have to whisper it into Jen Yazeki's butthole. And also examine and make sure, you know, the round carpet matches the drapes.
Blake says, I better see Ernie next week or I will riot. I better see Ernie next week or I will riot. You think you have it bad? I haven't seen that little thick boy in almost 2 weeks now. God damn. I miss that boy.
I miss him too, honestly. I really miss him.
He's such a good boy. He really is. Nate Beebe says, I think they should hire Aisha Husni to go door to door. Of course you would. Bonk.
Oh,
bonk.
Yeah, seriously. That's a huge bonk right there.
Damon,
but honestly, I would definitely accept it from her too.
Yeah, you would. Let's be honest. Thank you, Damon, for the very nice donation. Next up, Jay, did you know? So I'm down here in Florida. We're supposed to get a hurricane hitting the west coast of Florida. That's where I am. And the hurricane basically barely missed me. I'm thinking because the hurricane realized I live here now. They're like, oh, fuck, that guy's such a disappointment. I can't ruin his life with this as well. And then continue to move on.
Or it was just a really bad joke and they wanted to make sure that Ern and everybody else around you suffers by keeping you alive.
Oh, by keeping me alive. Like, where is this going? Anyways, it was a category 1. It's now down to a tropical storm. I was actually very surprised. I thought we were really going to get battered. But, I mean, I've been through hurricanes over the last decade hitting D.C., and those are way worse. Worse. Did I say worst? Worse.
Oh, they actually reached that far in?
Yeah. Deeper than my 2 to 3 inches. By the way, I forgot to mention the fact that Biden and Yazaki, they're trying to obviously go door to door. But not at one point did they ever play this.
You finna online date chat, find a mate chat, open up the okay, profile picture looking tight chat, nice chat, got your bio reading right chat, precise chat, but before you find a date chat, you gotta wait chat, gotta go back to Nate chat, get it straight chat, girl you look good, want you vax that thing up, use a handsome young brother, want you vax that thing up, dating real life, you need to vax that thing up, feeling freaky all night, you need to vax that thing up, girl you look good, want you vax that thing up, use a handsome young brother, want you vax that thing up, dating real life, you need to vax that thing up. Feeling freaky all night, you need to vax that thing up.
I know you can't stand it, no holding hands, chick. But when we get the shot, we gon' be romancing. Girl, you could be the queen after quarantine. We could meet up at the spot and we could do the thing. Internet date chat, I'm your mate chat. Download the app, shorty, you ain't gotta wait chat. I love it when you hold me, ain't playing emoji. You could be the young hot thing, I'll be the OG.
Girl, you look good, want you vax that thing up. Use a handsome young brother, want you vax that thing up. Dating real life, you need to vax that thing up. Feeling freaky all night, you need to vax that thing up. Girl, you look good, want you vax that thing up. Use a decent looking brother, want you vax that thing up. Acting foolishly, you need to vax that thing up. Herd immunity when you vax that thing up.
If you wanna get sticky and hot, go get the shot. If you wanna smash some dude named Scott. Go, 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 go get the shot. Go get the shot, go, go get the shot. BLK says go get the shot. You wanna smash with Scott, smash, smash with Scott. BLK says go get the shot. Smash with Scott.
Bro,
backs that thing up.
I have never heard a vaccine song as horny as that, and I love every second of it.
I know.
Literally,
you want to go get sticky with Scott? Backs that thing up.
Well, there's no hope for me, obviously.
With Scott, probably a lot more than with anyone else.
Well, I mean, there's no hope for me because I'm already part of a family. Anyways, too bad. I do find it hilarious though that they actually they finally made a not like it. I don't know if that was intentionally cringe or unintentionally cringe or even cringe at all. I didn't get a cringe vibe. Did you?
Not like it was a cringy kind of like skanky ghetto fucking vibe type thing off of it.
Well, no, I mean it fits in with the whole theme of what Back That Ass Up is. But I'm just saying, like, it's no this.
I got the vaccine, you got the vaccine, they got the vaccine, we got the vaccine. We can get back to normal, let me inform you, let's all get the vaccine. It's about community immunity. I'm talking unity for you and me. If Doc says it's good, then trust me, it's good. Now let's all get the vaccine. Alright, there is none higher. DMC, I will inspire. Time for us to trust and not debate. The vaccine, believe it's safe to take. 9 out of 10 people won't get sick. That's 90% effective and legit. This COVID thing is real and it will find you. It's killing our people, let me remind you. Back in the days, there was polio, smallpox, back in the days. Measles and mumps, man, back in the days. But because of the vaccines, none of those stays. Vaccines, they work to trigger immunity. 2 shots, we got antibody security. We gotta act now, no need to wait. Get your vaccine before it's too late, for real.
It just makes me feel so warm and fuzzy inside listening to that.
It's so much better. Now that's a vaccine song.
It's like
straight to the point. That one was great. I'm pretty sure a white person wrote the last one, the one before that.
That was are you talking about the
BTL
Juvenile? The one by Juvenile?
His name is Juvenile?
Yeah, from Cash Money Records. You don't know Jay, where the fuck have you been?
The UAE, listening to Arabic music and emo rock music. That's what I grew up to. And then I matured and started listening to Megadeth, Iron Maiden, and Metallica. And then I matured again when I came over here to California and started listening to like EDM. And so, well, that's because that's where the Asians were.
Jonathan Sluss, thank you, says we have fallen so far from the original vaccine rap. You can't recreate a magnum opus. You simply cannot. Anyways, did we get all the super chats? Okay. Jay, I know we don't really focus a whole lot on QAnon on this show because honestly, why should we? But this was this was interesting, and I'm out of focus. Let me get in focus. God, I'm fucking.
It wouldn't be a stream without you out of focus.
I'm just gonna play the fucking clip.
Trump Kennedy 2021. What does that shirt mean?
I think that JFK Jr. is still alive.
The guy who died in the plane crash in the late 90s? You think he's still alive?
I do.
And he's going to come back and be president with Trump this year?
I hope so.
But how would Trump become president this year? There would be a new election?
There's a lot of things I think have happened, and there's some things I think I know, and a lot of things I don't.
Okay. And one thing you do know is John F. Kennedy Jr. is still alive?
That's what I believe.
Okay. Do you want to bet? Do you want to bet on it? I'll bet $100 that JFK Jr. doesn't come back from the dead. To do it.
But I don't think he's dead.
I'll bet $100 that he's not alive.
But I
you bet 100?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
Great.
Okay.
Sweet.
First of all, $100 bet is strong, but nothing as strong as family.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, that's a strong bet he just made, a sure winner. I am actually very excited to see what happens in August when didn't they say he was going to didn't Q people say that Trump was going to be president by August? Yes,
and it's fucking hilarious because they're like the doomsday cultists.
No, they're not even doomsday. They are the world is controlled by actually, you know what? It goes way beyond just the pedophile stuff because
it is. They're so far beyond hope. It's fucking ridiculous. And when I say like the doomsday cultists is that they always push the date back. It misses. They come up with an excuse. Yeah, and then they just keep on moving it back and back and back and back and back.
At what point is are they? I know. I remember the original theory from this year about Trump was going to come in on Inauguration Day and arrest all the pedophiles on the stage of the Biden inauguration. That didn't happen. A lot of QAnon people became disillusioned by this and they left the movement. And then they thought in March, which they thought was the true inauguration, that was going to be when Trump was going to come back into office. And then some people were like, oh, he's actually going to become president in August. Where the fuck are you getting all this shit? I understand it's a grift, but I mean, seriously, you're ruining people's lives at this point.
Right. It's so fucking stupid. And I honestly think it started off as a prank on 4chan or some shit. And they just kept it coming. This is one of the most epic pranks that they're going to keep on going with because the people are just so stupid and gullible. If people stop listening to it, the whole fucking Q posts, the whole fucking things, all of that kind of stuff will stop. But because people are fucking disillusioned and stupid as shit, it will keep on going. And 4chan, that's when they thrive. They love that kind of shit, like these trolls and shit posters and stuff. They love it when somebody gets hooked and keeps on coming back for more. And they'll even make it even more outlandish. I mean, fuck, the guy who said that JFK Jr. is alive is laughing his fucking ass off at how many people actually believe this shit. I mean, get your head out of your fucking ass, people. It's stupid.
It's just amazing the love, Jay, when the internet was first coming about to the mainstream in the late 90s, oddly enough, when JFK Jr. died, all our parents were like, don't trust what you read on the internet. And then all of their brains have turned into not all of them, but a good chunk of them on both sides of the aisle, because I can attest to that, is that literally they will believe anything they read on the internet because it's on the fucking internet. I don't understand how we've gotten to this point where even you and I, who are for me, I'm a certified boomer, I don't even trust anything I read on the internet.
Well, because you don't even know how to get on.
That's also true. So, speaking of internet, President Trump was at his Bedminster, New Jersey, I want to say resort, and he has a very big announcement to make.
Thank you very much, Brooke. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. I just want to say that I stand before you this morning to announce a very important and very beautiful, I think, development for our freedom and our freedom of speech, and that goes to all Americans. Today, in conjunction with the America First Policy Institute, I'm filing as the lead class representative a major class action lawsuit against the big tech giants, including Facebook, Google, and Twitter, as well as their CEOs, Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, and Jack Dorsey. 3 real nice guys. We're asking the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida to order an immediate halt to social media companies' illegal, shameful censorship of the American people, and that's exactly what they are doing.
So obviously that's a pretty big deal for at least President Trump in this case, because over the last 6 months he's kind of been there, but not entirely there. Done speeches here and there. Went to CPAC. Started doing some rallies, and this is the first legal move pushing back against, I guess what I would call the big tech establishment. You got Google, Facebook, Twitter. And I don't know exactly where it will lead. Jay, when you heard about it, what went through your mind?
Well, his pronouncing, how he pronounced Pooche was absolutely fucking Pooche. I mean, it's something I wouldn't do because I'm pretty good at pronouncing Indian names. I'm all right with it. Indian, Pakistani names. Yeah, I'm actually pretty good with it because a lot of my friends back home, and well, not home, but back in the UAE, they were, Patels and fucking Puches and all that kind of shit. So, so I was dying when he was pronouncing it and stuff. But I mean, isn't this lawsuit supposed to be filed in California, but he filed it in Florida?
Oh, dude, I don't even know, man.
I think that's what was supposed to happen. Nothing big is going to come out of this suing big tech, and it's his last hurrah before he fizzles.
Yeah, it was filed in the Southern District of Florida. But again, class action is the assumption that other people will get in on it, and I don't know if our Habibi Bros attorney is here, LB, but if she is, maybe she can opine. Maybe Damon can opine. He's our deputy attorney general here. We'll see. But look,
he's probably don't fucking ask me. I don't know shit.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not your attorney. Get the fuck out of here. He has to write in the comments specifically. I have to stipulate I am not either of these two fuckheads attorneys.
No matter what happens, when they call on me.
But Jay, you know what he is? Family. That's right. I'm interested to see exactly what happens. Obviously, the big tech entities haven't actually issued a comment on it. I don't know where it'll go, but maybe it's the first step of many other legal actions. When we were talking to Eliza Blue over this past episode, who, by the way, is probably going to replace either me or Jay, basically, Twitter and Facebook have far more problems with their human and sex trafficking issues than they do with free speech. So there's a good chance that now that India has basically cracked the dam of Twitter and their distribution of basically child pornography, they're now liable for a lot of lawsuits. So we'll see what happens. Abe Eckstein says Damon Toll is a lib. Damon Toll says, I am not either of these two fuckheads attorneys.
For the record.
Good. Let's see what else we got. Let's see the rundown. Jay, our favorite journalist in the entire world, Nicole Hannah-Jones, is spurning UNC for Howard. I think I have a clip of it. Let me see.
What have you decided to do? We just heard the vote was 9-4, offering you the tenure. What have you decided?
Well, I've decided to decline the offer of tenure. I will not be teaching on the faculty of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. It's a very difficult decision, not a decision I wanted to make. And instead, I'm going to be the inaugural night chair in race and journalism at Howard University.
So many things to unpack there. First, let's start with you declining the offer. The vote was 9-4, clearly in your favor. There are some people that could say You said you wouldn't take the job without being offered tenure. They offered you the tenure, and you're still saying, thanks, but no.
Absolutely.
Because?
Well, because look what it took to get tenure. So this was a position that since the 1980s came with tenure. The night chairs are designed for professional journalists who have been working in the field to come into academia. And every other chair before me, who also happened to be white, received that position with tenure.
It had never been denied. No one had ever been denied tenure before.
Exactly. And I went through the tenure process, and I received the unanimous approval of the faculty to be granted tenure. And so to be denied it and to only have that vote occur on the last possible day, at the last possible moment, after threat of legal action, after weeks of protest, after it became a national scandal, it's just not something that I want anymore.
You know what? Good for her, Jay. I'm happy for her. You know, go where you're appreciated, right?
No, absolutely. And honestly, like, it's a good troll. Like, good for her for doing that, because the university fucking deserves it for not standing on their fucking feet and ground and not offering this fucking useless garbage person tenure. She doesn't deserve it. She never did. She doesn't even deserve teaching in school. What is she going to do? Teach people how to lie and then hide behind race when people call you out on it? The fuck is she going to teach people? I don't even understand it. Like, how are these people educators? How are these people even in the position to go and interview to become an educator? These things don't make sense to me whatsoever. And I mean, it makes zero sense. And they offered her 5 years with a review on being tenured. Like, let's see if you're a good teacher. But she knew she's garbage. She wouldn't be a good teacher. And this is why this whole fiasco started. And she's like a national scandal. All of your friends who are national media journalists just back you up without even giving the full story. I mean, talk about fucking privilege. You have people who are in these positions to completely set the narrative for you, to not even give you give the public the full scope of anything, and then you are offered tenure, and then you deny it to go to some other bullshit fucking place. This is just further proof that academia as a whole is absolute garbage. There needs to be a full force, absolute rejection of these garbage people within academia. It needs a whole reset. We have these postmodern pieces of garbage who are infected academia at such a fucking degree that they control every aspect of it. Every aspect of it. You can see it from when it happened in what was it called? New Green, whatever university where Weinstein was teaching, Brett Weinstein. You can see it happen time and time again. Evergreen State, thank you. And then over in Berkeley, like any person that has any thought outside of what these postmodernism garbage fucks want to be implementing into the curriculum has no chance in hell to voice any kind of opposition or any kind of thought over it. Academia in this country is garbage. It's shit. And this is just further proof of its shittiness.
Damon Toll says she might not be faculty, but she'll always be family. God damn it. That's right. Nicole Hannah-Jones, we might dunk on you a lot, but we only do it because you're family.
You're fucking Gabba. But you're family. But you're Gabba. But also family.
Carlos,
but also
thank you, Carlos says Hannah-Jones was like, UNC is not family. Tom Toretto would be disappointed. That is true. There's nothing stronger than family, obviously, Habibi. Yeah, you know, honestly, I don't know. Look, I understand on the one hand that it is important to go where you're appreciated, and she would definitely be appreciated at Howard. It's a historically black college and university. I saw one comment saying that she would teach white people to hate themselves. That's going to be tough. Not a whole lot of white people are accepted at historically black colleges and universities. They are the minority. Jay, have I told you I actually applied to Howard Medical School? Did not get in, and it's not because I'm not black. Definitely not because of my skin color. So, yeah, definitely can't claim racial discrimination on that one. Your boy is not a great test taker.
Or they probably just called your dad for a referral, and he's like,
Yeah,
Siraj who?
But yeah, it is kind of interesting. Nicole Hannah-Jones ends up winning out in this situation because instead of going to UNC and accepting tenure there after that whole, tug of war she had with them, it's just like, if I have to go through if I have to jump through all these hoops just to be accepted at a university, why even bother? So, what would be interesting is if she went to Howard and after 5 years didn't get tenure.
Right. Well, didn't they offer her tenure right off the bat?
I'm sure they probably did. Honestly,
they're going to bow to it.
I am positive she doesn't want to go through the whole thing over again. If they gave her tenure right off the bat, that's entirely believable.
Yeah, that's what she would do. She would take it. I mean, it's like when you're interviewing at, the third place that you want to interview at, but you don't really want to work out. Like say you're a journalist and you're interviewing for jobs and you get a job at the Washington Examiner, but it was never your first pick. And you wanted to go pick something else, but then it's 2 years later and now you're unemployed.
Technically, it's 5 years later, but
I was trying to lower the blow a little bit.
Jay, I love you.
I love you.
And I'm gonna pull the plug on this whole fucking thing. Jonathan Sluss says, I was waiting for Jay to drop Gahba somewhere in his rant. So disappointed.
I think I called her Gahba 69 times. I essentially called her Gahba 69 times. 100%.
69 times, essentially. So there's another thing going on, Jay, that's actually kind of weird. Actually, I wouldn't say it's weird. It's actually kind of sad. And that is the story of Muhammad Anwar. You remember we covered him in late March, early April. The 14-year-old who is responsible for his death was sentenced to juvenile detention over the carjacking that led to his death, and all she did care about was her stupid cell phone. Muhammad Anwar, who was, I believe, like in his early 60s at the time of his death.
I think he was either 64 or 66.
Yeah, something like that. According to multiple reports, the maximum sentence that they could receive was juvenile detention until they're 21. And obviously, because the two girls are minors, they can't be identified. But they were arrested for felony murder and armed carjacking for the death of Muhammad Anwar, an Uber Eats driver in Washington, D.C., right outside Nationals Park on March 23rd. It was a horrific video that was caught on camera, a horrific crime. And while it may not have been based on the way that it was portrayed within the media, and I actually got shit for it from a fucking Yahoo News reporter. Right. What's his name? Hunter Walker or something like that.
Some
white dude talking about how I only care about his death because the suspects were black. I didn't even mention that they were black.
You did.
Muhammad Anwar could have been my dad. I mean, he really could have been. If my dad wasn't a doctor, there's a good chance that he would have done something that Muhammad Anwar would have done. He could have been the driver. He could have been the taxi driver. He could have been the chauffeur. He could have operated a 7-Eleven. The stereotypical stuff that we South Asians tend to, work for. But he was doing Uber Eats on the side. And it was one of those things where it's like he was just trying to earn extra money. And these two teenagers targeted him. And, I think at the time of the initial fallout of it, I think what I said was that I don't think it was a racist crime, but I think that Anwar was targeted because of his race, because there is a a reputation that South Asians just don't fight back, which is largely true. We are very docile people. And in the case of Muhammad Anwar, maybe they didn't know who was driving it. Maybe they just wanted to steal his car. But obviously, we saw what happened. They killed this poor man. His family has to grieve with his loss. It's only been, 3 or 4 months since it happened. And it's terrible stuff. And the fact that The Hill writes completely like sidesteps anything about his murder, because nowhere in that tweet you see right there, it says 14-year-old sentenced to juvenile detention over carjacking of Uber Eats driver in DC. I wonder how that driver's doing.
Right. That's how you think.
What the fuck, Hill?
It's absolute garbage. And it was the same type of reporting that was happening over the course of this whole event. And the mainstream media did not really give justice to to Anwar and his death. I mean, they were tiptoeing as much as they could over the fact that the two teenage people who did that were black. And they did this on purpose. And it's really, really hurtful. Trying to downplay the death of Marwan Anwar to protect his the criminals. I mean, it's absolutely fucking disgusting. I mean, they went so hard over a white boy, a little white kid, for smirking at a fucking Native American, that it was so disgusting how they did that. And then over here, what happened with Marwan, with Muhammad? Sorry, I say Marwan because honestly, like you, he does remind me of my dad too. My dad still works till today, and I am fearful for his life every fucking day because of what could happen and where he's at and what's going on. And he's around the same age. He's like 60. He's like 64, 63, and he still works till this day. And it's so sick the way that they downplayed the whole event, and it happened in DC.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have been down there. It's actually amazing how things sort of like you almost don't recognize a place because of something like that, happening. It's terrible story. Just for the record, the 14-year-old girl pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. Other charges against her, including armed carjacking, were later dropped in exchange for the guilty plea. And then the second girl, who was 15 years old, pleaded guilty to felony murder in May and had other charges of armed carjacking, robbery, and aggravated reckless driving dropped. And she's also sentenced to juvenile detention until they turn 21. Now, of course, that almost seemed to be expected, right? Because they're under 18, they can be tried they can be tried as adults.
Right.
But people have definitely tried teens as adults before, depending on how heinous the crime was. So, what determines that factor? I have no idea. But in some way, shape, or form, you feel like it's a miscarriage of justice that Muhammad Anwar, he died in vain, and it was all over for what? Fucking carjacking? Fucking just it kills me. Anyways, moving on. Today was actually a pretty big day in European soccer as England reached its first major final since 1966 after defeating Denmark to reach the final in the semifinal. I watched the game. Jay, I don't know. Were you at work? Were you watching?
I was at work. I was only getting updates as it was coming in. I couldn't watch.
I gotta say this. I mean, this one came. There was a little bit of controversy because Raheem Sterling, who the England striker, he went down in the box under pressure from a melee of Denmark players, and the referee awarded him a penalty, which was then confirmed by VAR. And if you looked at obviously the footage, it was one of those things where you didn't see a whole lot of contact in the replay. Yet they awarded the penalty. Harry Kane took a weak-ass penalty, and then scored on the rebound, putting England ahead indefinitely at 2-1. Now, I just have to say how racist it is that England doesn't have a single South Asian player on their squad.
Wow.
It really is.
That is racist. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's
literally
hard to,
Islamophobia and Pakistanophobia.
Pakistanophobia, Indiaphobia, Sri Lankan phobia.
100%.
All of it.
Bangladeshi
Essentially.
phobia. 100%. Carlos says Opa España. Sorry, Carlos, your team.
I know. I'm really disappointed that Spain lost to Italy.
Yeah, I don't like Italy. Anyways, we'll see what happens on Sunday in the final. Who do you got in the final? I mean, who do you have winning?
I hope England wins.
I hope so too.
I do. I'm voting for England. Like, Italy is great and stuff. I like some of the players in Italy and everything, but I do like, my main league is the Premier League. I like most of the English players that play in the Premier League, and I like most of the English players that play in England, and that's the main reason why I'm supporting them. And now that Spain is gone, but
yeah,
what can you do? The only reason why I like Spain is because of the tapas.
Sarah Johnson says, "How do you segue from that murder to soccer?"
By pointing out the racism in England and not having a single Southeast Asian player.
Yeah, seriously, Sarah, get with the program, okay? We're like the news here. We talk about, if it bleeds, it leads, and then we talk about sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nate Beebe says Siraj loves talking about balls, especially when they're not mine.
Essentially 100%. You should see how he plays with other people's.
Okay, moving on. We got our top issues here. Jay, did you know that this week was the 6-month anniversary of the Capitol riot?
Was it? Dun, dun, dun.
Did you know that? And did you know that if you got Legos, they're definitely going to be, the FBI is going to be raiding your house right now?
Honestly, I do have a Lego architecture.
Oh, God. What do you mean you have a Lego architecture?
Of Tokyo, Japan.
Arrest this man.
I'm planning to go to Tokyo in like April.
Look at
what do you think is going to happen when I go? What do you think, FBI? What do you think? Nothing, because I'm going to go eat sushi.
And ass.
Oh,
don't forget the ass. How dare you leave out the ass? Anyway, since it's been 6 months since the Capitol riot, I have to highlight a few things here. How stunning and brave a few of these individuals are. First of all, we have Representative Andy Kim, who tweets out on July 6th, 6 months ago today, I wore this blue suit as I cleaned the Capitol after the insurrection. Now I just donated it to the Smithsonian. January 6th must never be forgotten. While some try to erase history, I will fight to tell the story so it never happens again. And then he goes on for a very long thread telling his story. Jay, how brave of a man is Andy Kim? Donating his suit after cleaning up the Capitol. That's so brave. I'm going to donate this beer can to the Smithsonian after getting roasted on Habibi Power Hour for the 69th time in one episode.
And I'm donating this Starlight bottle of bourbon from Gin. That was actually very, very, very good. It was really, really good. And it's going to be in remembrance of dunking on your ass.
You want to know why you did it? Because we're family.
Why? Absolutely. Family dumps on family.
Rico Rocco, thank you. Says Celtics, Bruins, Pats, España. Not a good year for a Spaniard from New England. We'll see how the Sox go.
Who watches
Anyways,
baseball?
I mean, I do. But that's another story. Jay, did you see this Vice thread that came out?
Yes.
Let's pull it up real quick. This is just next level.
It's so good. This is
right.
It's so good.
So Vice News in this thread on the 6-month anniversary of the Capitol Hill riot. This first tweet says, new reporters who survived the deadly Capitol riot are still struggling. Some won't go back into the building. Several have sought therapy to deal with trauma. Many still aren't sleeping well. Continues. All of the reporters interviewed for the story are worried that the Capitol riot won't be a one-off attack. Eric Wasson from Bloomberg News says, we've become very complacent in thinking the U.S. is different. Continuing on, says it's eerily back to normal, but sometimes it feels like one of those horror movies, like the end of Jaws. Everything feels, oh man, I don't even know what is that? Copacit?
This guy is just like taking shit out of his ass of vocabulary cards and putting it
on the beach. Copacetic on the beach. Journalists, but you wonder if there's anything out there. Ginger Gibson, from Politics Editor, NBC News, who has covered natural disasters and murder scenes, says this was different. That day, we weren't just observers. We were one of their targets. A lot of us reporters are having a tough time with that. And then PBS NewsHour correspondent Lisa Desjardins says, I'm still not sleeping like I used to. I became kind of an insomniac. And this one from freelance reporter Matt Lasso. This is great. It's my office, the building I love most in the fucking world. I used to call the Capitol my girlfriend. I've devoted 15 years of my goddamn life to that building. Now I don't want to be there. Jay, you hate to see it.
These people are such fucking garbage. They're so fucking horrible. They have a need to make themselves the fucking story, to make themselves looking like the fucking victim. How many of them were even fucking injured? They say that they were targeted. How many of them were attacked? How many of them were what? Oh, you were shoved to the side, and oh my god, you were such attacked. Oh, you poor fucking thing. How many of them ended up in the hospital? Any of them end up dead? Any of them anything whatsoever for them to justify this made up exaggeration story for them to be a pretend fucking victim? It's sick. It's disgusting. And it goes to show that journalism and people who are in journalism are fucking babies. I mean, they're fucking little smug garbage babies. Like, fuck. I mean, how deep did this guy have to go up his ass to get that word out? I mean, seriously.
Say
for
it.
Fuck's sake.
Copacetic.
Copacetic.
Amazing.
This is essentially 100% a made-up word.
Yeah, technically all words are made up, but anyways, that's a different story. Bart the Tree Guy, thank you, says, just wait until the Empire sees my Lego Death Star. Oh yeah, that's another story we're going to touch on. Apparently, federal investigators seized an unusual piece of evidence from a Pennsylvania man indicted last month for his role in the Capitol riot. A Lego replica of the building he allegedly stormed. Robert Morris, who's 27, is accused of leading fellow rioters in what prosecutors say was one of the most intense and prolonged clashes with officers on January 6th. According to court documents obtained by Smoking Gun, FBI investigators seized an array of firearms from his house, as well as what the court filings described as a quote-unquote fully constructed U.S. Capitol Lego set. The prosecutors didn't say whether Morris used this toy to help plan the Capitol insurrection. Another item seized from Morris was a notebook containing a step-by-step to create hometown militia, with steps such as ambush and battle drills and reminders to bring assault rifle and 4 magazines. So, Jay, if you have a Lego, well, you have your your Japanese Skyline Lego set.
You do?
I imagine that the Japanese Empire is going to bonsai your ass.
Well, they're going to feel the wrath of my hunger.
Yeah. But
I mean, I'm going to go over there being 5'4" and still looking like fucking Godzilla.
That's also true. You will be one with your people, inshallah. Billy Finn, thank you. Billy says, bro, I don't care that clown donated his suit. Hit me up when AOC donates her underwear.
Settle down, sir. Settle down. because that ass is still flat as fuck. All right, it's not even that good of a butt. It's still flat. Now, if you want to look at butts, you should check out Omar. She's got a pretty good donkedar. I mean, even though she wears all of that covering and all that kind of shit, it still comes out. I mean,
the dumpster truck.
Show. Yeah,
an absolute dumpster truck.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So interestingly enough, Ashley Babbitt is now more in the news. Literally the only person that's actually fatally killed by anyone during the Capitol riot. Ashley Bishop Talbot Swan, who made the list this past week, tweets out, Ashley Babbitt was a racist terrorist. Give the cop who shot her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. You know what's interesting is how people were talking about how we can't name the officer who killed Ashley Babbitt because that would put his life at risk. Well, if you give him, by that logic, Bishop Talbot Swan, giving him the Presidential Medal of Freedom would fucking name him and everybody would know who he is. But there's another reason. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they'll do a whole fucking ceremony over it and shit. Like, this guy is fucking.
As it continues on, another interesting aspect is that Kmart and Sears actually had a T-shirt for Ashley Babbitt that was sold on their online stores. It literally had Ashley Babbitt, American Patriot, with the American flag spaced in between. It got pulled from their stores because Aaron Rupar tweeted about it. And Aaron Rupar is obviously the master of outrage. I do find it weird, though, that anyone would be selling a T-shirt of Ashley Babbitt and calling her an American Patriot when obviously the whole circumstances surrounding her death are questionable at best.
Right. Well, it's not like she was trying to do the right thing. It's not like she was breaking in to go save a kitten. I mean, you're going into a restricted area. Like, the thing is like if I was trying to break into the White House and I got shot, right, and I had nothing on me, what are people gonna do? Call me a fucking patriot? I mean, get the fuck over your. I mean, the two side of this story.
Hold on, Jay,
I mean, holy shit.
Jay, hold on. I'd make shirts for you. You want to know why? Because you're family.
Family.
And there's nothing stronger than family. God damn it. Anyways, you know what's interesting, and this is something that I've thought about over the last few days because President Trump, he's actually in his little announcement today, he also had something to say about Ashley Babbitt.
Just to clarify, who should be the arbiter of what's hate, what's offensive, what should not be published, what goes beyond free speech? And because so much of this, your banning has to do with comments you made around January 6th, just to clarify further, what did you do to stop the insurrection, as some people call it, and why were you not able to stop it?
So that whole event, unfortunate event, just went through Congress and a report was issued and my name wasn't even mentioned. And I appreciate that. I was surprised, frankly, because I would have assumed that they would have come up with their typically biased, at least on the Democrat side, statement. The report came out, as you saw, 2 weeks ago. My name wasn't even mentioned. That was an unfortunate event. I say, though, however, people are being treated unbelievably unfairly. When you look at people in prison and nothing happens to Antifa, and they burned down cities and killed people. There were no guns in the Capitol. They burned, except for the gun that shot Ashley Babbitt. And nobody knows who that man were. If that were the opposite way, that man would be all over. He would be the most well-known, and I believe, I can say man, because I believe I know exactly who it is. But he would be the most well-known person in this country, in the world. But the person that shot Ashley Babbitt, boom, right through the head, just boom. There was no reason for that. And why isn't that person being opened up, and why isn't that being studied? They've already written it off. They said that case is closed. If that were the opposite, that case would be going on for years and years, and it would not be pretty. So I just thought this was a very important time. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay, so obviously the thing about Ashley Babbitt, he's been talking about it more and more. And honestly, this is kind of weird because, and I'm not sure if anyone has really talked about this or mentioned this, but we all know, obviously, a commission on January 6th would be a fucking circus, right?
Right.
However, there is something to be said that if they were able to actually get a commission in place in Congress, would they be able to find out who shot Ashley Babbitt? I'm wondering, like, is that something where like that could feasibly be answered? Now, I know that Capitol Police will not obviously volunteer the name of the cop who shot Ashley Babbitt, but maybe they could get to the answers. And Republicans are currently stymieing this effort to get a January 6th commission. Do you think it's actually worth it, Jay?
I don't. I honestly don't think it's worth it. I think it's a spectacle. I think it's going to get showtime. You're going to see politicians at their happiest. They're going to be on camera just saying all the shit that they think their journalist buddies are going to love. They're going to be like, this was against freedom. This was against democracy. They were all white supremacists, and we're so against white supremacy. And you're going to have, New York Times journalists just going throughout the whole
Jay,
thing.
Jay, don't say that. Don't say that, Jay. Don't say that. Don't say that.
Why not?
Because they're family with each other. That's incest.
Well, we saw what happened in CNN. Incest doesn't give a shit. It's not something. True. It's not a line.
It's not like
that
it's not like
be
it's not like Andrew. It's not like the
Kiomos
are. I mean, they are family,
and they are incest. They're incest family. That's what it is.
Bart the Tree Guy says you talk like Republicans can accomplish things. That's actually a very good point, and I concede that. they don't get shit done. They get fucking nothing done. You see what they did under 4 years of Trump? Fucking nothing. Zero. Anyways.
Well, not zero. I mean, there were some things that they got done, but the main things, like getting rid of fucking Obamacare that they were talking about for fucking ever, for 8 years.
They rest their laurels on fucking tax cuts that no one gives a shit about because, as always, you see how that changes with an administration.
Right.
That is then thrown into a different party. So what good did that do, really? Anyways, next up, now, there was actually this huge pipeline burst in the Gulf Coast. And this was in the midst of, and I have to say, Jay, if we look at the video of it, it looks largely like my asshole. I'm not gonna lie to you. After I went through that little bout of food poisoning, that is my asshole right there after Chick-fil-A.
I had a nice meme where it was your mom's asshole after Taco Bell, my tongue.
Yeah. So, anyways, the gas pipeline fire in the Gulf of Mexico created a shocking scene. It was. And I'm going to give you the lead up here, okay? So we have this Lauren Peacock tweet saying the sea is on fire, but some people still think capitalism can be managed, okay? We got that first one, all right? Then we have another one. This one from America's mayor, the one everyone loves, Bill de Blasio, saying it's not a movie trailer. It's not a natural disaster either. It's what happens when we let corporate greed destroy our planet. Look at that. Look at what happens when you let corporate greed destroy my asshole. Fucking Chick-fil-A, right?
I'm so going to Taco Bell after this.
And then finally, we have the sage of our era, the prodigy of our era, Greta Thunberg, saying, meanwhile, the people in power call themselves climate leaders as they open up new oil fields, pipelines, and coal power plants, granting new oil licenses, exploring future oil drilling sites. This is the world they are leaving for us. I'd like to point out, obviously, that this pipeline fire happened at the hands of Pemex, which is, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, a state-owned oil company under the Mexican government. This is not capitalism. This is what happens when you have government run a bunch of shit that they don't know how to run. And they just say, fuck it. They'll clean it up. And they just keep on stepping.
They do. And it's very funny. Like when something like this happens, everybody's like, oh, look at capitalism. It's so horrible. Oh, I had diarrhea the other day. Capitalism is so fucking horrible.
Well, technically, yes, capitalism is bad because my butthole and throat still hurt.
Look, you were deliberately attacked for being Muslim by Jesus Chicken. That's what happened.
That's
Jesus Chicken has a release that understands when you're Muslim, and it fucking goes off. Doesn't go off for me because they know I'm an atheist, so it doesn't really, it doesn't really.
But Jay, I have to say, as hard of a time as I give my butthole, I really should give it some slack because ultimately,
it's family.
It's family. Damon says Pemex may be state owned, but that doesn't mean they're not family. Big racist capitalism is family.
Family.
So yeah, anyways, what are you gonna do, right, Jay? The world's on fire. We got to stop capitalism. It's all capitalism's fault.
That's what it is.
Like,
I mean, racism, capitalism fault. COVID, capitalism's fault.
Me being blurry, capitalism's fault.
Capitalism's fault. Me being completely clear, this is what communism gets you. Sharia, caliphate, communism, right here. All on this face.
Yeah. So, anyways, finally, this past weekend was the 4th of July. And Jay, I don't have to say much about 4th of July. It's the 4th. It's the day we recognize our independence from those goddamn Brits who are going to the Euro semifinal.
We are rooting for.
Who we're oddly enough rooting for. But also, if they lose, we'll be like, see, you needed our help in order to win. And that's where we get them. But I have to say, there's a lot of things that are happening in the world that make it seem like even though the adults are back in charge, we're still not united as a country, as exhibited by this New York Times tweet. Let me pull it up real quick. This is where my boomer tendencies tend to come into play. And this tweet saying, today, I'm flying in the American flag from the back of a pickup truck or over a lawn is increasingly seen as a clue, albeit an imperfect one, to a person's political affiliation in a deeply divided nation. Wait, so you're telling me that flying the American flag is an imperfect clue as to what my political affiliations are, saying that I'm, a fucking conservative? Saying that I'm proud to be an American? What the fuck is it supposed to mean?
That's what it is, dude. It's showcasing it. They're saying the silent part out loud that being a Democrat or being a liberal or being a fucking journalist at the New York Times means you have to hate your country. It means that any showcasing of pride or patriotism is wrong and rooted in evilness, and you are therefore painted as a conservative. And it's really going to showcase that a lot of these elite liberal blue check fucking journalists and people in academia don't know what the fuck they're talking about, because you have a lot of people who are not Republican, who vote Democrat, who actually love this country. You can hate the government, but loving your country is something completely outside and different. Being patriotic, knowing and actually appreciating being part of a country that is by far, so far and away, better than any nation out there, is not, it should not be affiliated to who you are voting for. But the problem is these journalists and also Democrats, more and more of them, are politicizing it. They're making it the case. You have people like Cori Bush coming out and saying, like, you can celebrate your life forth, but that just means you're white and you're a white supremacist, and all of this kind of fucking garbage rhetoric that they post up there. And it's becoming a more and more accustomed narrative that the squad and the rest of the Democrats want to hold. and actually say. And it's going to deter a lot of their voting base away from it. And it's the same thing you're seeing that's happening with the schools. And
Cori Bush's tweets. She said, when they say that the 4th of July is about American freedom, remember this: the freedom they're referring to is for white people. This land is stolen land, and black people still aren't free. She obviously got the list for that, because the idea that black people still aren't free is patently insane. And then you got to read up her follow-up.
Well, also your quote tweet on it was great too, because saying
she's the United States. This tweet coming from a Czech Notes sitting United States Congresswoman, or exactly. Sitting member of the United States House of Representatives, the second highest legislative body in the United States behind the Senate. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Cori Bush then follows up with this tweet: we know what our freedom looks like, and the slavery permitted under the 13th Amendment, and the war on drugs, and police violence, and healthcare, housing, and education apartheid. We are the experts on our own liberation, and we won't stop until it's won. So she's basically changing the definition of freedom, is what it sounds like.
That's what they do. All of these people, politicians included, and their journalistic allies, change the definition on words. They change the definition on gender. They change the definition on sex. They change the definition on freedom.
Whoa.
They change the definition on racism.
Jay, the thing you bring up about sex, if they change the definition of sex, does that mean I had it?
Yeah, especially because, when you and I are in the same place.
That's technically
sex, what that
right? means?
We are family.
Fuck, I didn't have enough time. I had my hands indisposed. Daniel says Siraj ruining the family meme is capitalism's fault. Billy Finn also comes in and says the whole "it was a state-owned company" actually thing is sad. Stop playing defense. Say this is the kind of garbage that happens when you nationalize an industry. It's a very good point, Billy. Very, very good point. But ultimately, Jay, we talk about this stuff going on with being proud of your country. And, I remember back in the 2000s during the Bush administration, and I was no fan of Bush. I fucking hated the guy. And that was like prime lib Siraj days. And I still think about those days, and I'm still no fan of Bush. But at the same time, I was still proud to be an American. And I still wanted our country to be something bigger and better than it was at that time. And I think there's always that opportunity. I feel like people always are striving for that. Americans especially. I'm not saying that Americans are better than other people, but there is something unique about coming to this country, and regardless of where you come from, if you share in this society, you are almost, with the exception of like the racists and the xenophobes, which, let's be honest, there aren't nearly as many today as there were, say, 50, 60, 100 years ago. We'll just, obviously not get into that too much. They will identify you as American. So like Jay, you immigrated here from the UAE. You weren't born here. You were born in Lebanon. You were born in Lebanon. And you are clearly a foreigner, don't have American citizenship. I welcome you and embrace you as an American.
Habibi, I love you. Thank you very much. Thank you for allowing me to come to your country. I am very happy to be here. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir. I just realized we were talking about Cori Bush and then President George W. Bush, and I didn't make the distinction that we were talking. Cori Bush is not president yet. We'll see what happens.
That is very true. But I mean, I think we also have a very unique perspective on this country, showcasing, what it allowed.
I can come to this country, sir. I come to this country and I become American citizen all over your face.
Well, not only all over my face. Your father became a heart surgeon in the United States of America. MashaAllah. I mean, it's really the cliche American dream that every fucking foreigner wishes on their children, wishes on themselves, wishes on all of that kind of stuff. I mean,
and you know
because
who they
you
also
can't
wish it
have
on?
that same-
Jay, you know who they also wish it on? Family.
That's very, very true. And that,
Yeah, very
and
true.
it's-
And you know what, Jay? I think there's obviously like a shared experience happening within this country that people have, regardless of what, regardless of where you're from, what religion you identify with, or God you pray to, what your race is. I think there's like a collective awakening and understanding that, like, look, I'm so fucking sick and tired of the bullshit. And if you are sick and tired as well, then we can be sick and tired together. There's sort of like that unifying factor of it. And it's almost traversed like political boundaries and lines. Because I have made inroads with people on the left, with people on the right, people of all different from all different walks of life, who are just fucking tired of all the bullshit. And I think that's the reason why you and I were able to get together is because we were both tired together of all the bullshit. And that's something that, you don't get anywhere else. You don't get, I mean, you might get this in Europe, you might get this in like Australia, New Zealand, but like there's something almost uniquely American about it, that those places aren't nearly as free as we are here because of the rights that we were given to that we all have. And if you are, even if you're not a citizen, you still have freedom here.
Right.
And that's something that you just don't get anywhere else.
That's absolutely true. That's
Essentially
absolutely
100%.
true. 100%. And I believe it.
And look, I get it. I
Wholeheartedly.
get that, like, on Independence Day, that like this nation wasn't perfect on July 4th, 1776. I get that was basically breaking away from what's it called, from the British Empire, and that blacks were still slaves, and that women still didn't have the right to vote, and that was basically white men who owned the land who were the only ones who were allowed to vote. Like, I get it. We were never perfect from the beginning, but at the same time, there was still a lot of people, a lot of the founders who wanted to move in the direction to ensure that everybody got their freedoms. And look, I don't think I like the whole idea that like the British were going to abolish slavery, which is the reason why the United States declared its independence. It's fucking bullshit. There was no one alive. There was 1619 project thinking right there. That was debunked by many historians. Is even corrected by Nicole Hannah-Jones in the 1619 project itself. And what's it called? When did the British Empire finally abolish slavery? What was it, like?
I think it was like 1863 or 1833.
Yeah, like
one
50, 60. It was like 60 years after the American Revolution. Like it's fucking crazy to think that like they were moving towards abolishing slavery. It didn't happen for another 60 years. Shut the fuck up. That's not true.
It's not.
People want to be revisionists and just constantly fucking.
And they'll keep on pushing
every
it
fact whatsoever.
And they'll keep on pushing it. Like here now, they're pushing it as fact, as its history. Like, we need to teach the real history. And this is how they're covering for CRT being taught in fucking grade schools and shit. This is absolute garbage being fed to people to hate America. It's not to hate, the government. It's not to hate, politicians.
Yeah, like
it's the country itself and the people within it.
It's the same issue that I get when people would talk about like Israel. Like, you can criticize the Israeli government all you want, but as soon as you get into like criticism of the Israeli state as a whole, then you traverse into the territory of anti-Semitism.
Right.
That's
exactly what it is.
Bart the Tree Guy says I'm going to do it from now on. Every comment I read, I'm going to go into Baijan mode. I'm going to say the fact that Siraj isn't a doctor shows America's Islamophobia.
100%.
What do you say to that? Oh, essentially said.
Oh, I just finished the start leg.
Yeah.
So I will now move on to Old Pub. There's a lot of drinks back here. Ooh, I got bottles, baby. I got bottles.
Bottles on bottles on bottles. So, in spite of all this stuff with, people not being proud to be an American, I really hesitate from saying this because this is one of those things where, this is like almost deep-seated. I always think of it as like deep-seated xenophobia and racism that if you don't like our country, why don't you get out?
You can get
if you
out.
really don't like living here, what's keeping you here? I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I got job, family." If you hate it here, there's nothing stopping you from leaving.
No.
I'm not gonna help you pack, but there's one of those things where it's just
Nobody's forcing you. Nobody's forcing you to stay here.
You literally have the freedom to leave. That is not even something that most people around the world have. You don't have that freedom in China.
Nope.
You don't. You don't have that freedom in a lot of places, but specifically China. You don't have that freedom in Hong Kong.
I think it shows the ignorance a lot, and in a lot of these people, they go to college, they go to these fucking classes, they never set foot outside of the country, they never really ask or see the different experiences from other people. They downplay and they down talk minorities and stuff. That's why you see a huge shift on minority middle class voting and stuff that is happening. It's real. It's a real
voting
shift.
has gone up or it's shifted to the right.
It's shifted to the right. Well, and it's also the reason why is because it's becoming more centered ground, shifting to the right, than voting with these fucking insane garbage people like AOC and Cory Bush and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and fucking even Pelosi now and shit and Schumer. The shit that they say and the way that they portray their truths and shit is so far and away from the realities that people are living here in the United States that people just look at them like they're crazy. They're fucking insane. And
okay, so one of the things that was really interesting to me, and I always think about this incident because I thought I think it was much ado about nothing, but the more time has passed and the more I see our culture shifting, the more I think about it. And that is, remember when Barack Obama was running for president in 2008? Michelle Obama got up on stage and said, "This is the first time I'm proud to be an American," or something along the lines of, I can find the quote, but Michelle Obama saying something along the lines like, "This is the first time I'm proud to."
Yeah, I'm proud to be American. She said something like that. I don't know if it was due to her husband winning.
Yeah, she says, for the first time in my adult life, I am really proud of my country because it feels like hope is making a comeback. Not just because Barack has done well, but because I think people are hungry for change. So people hung on to that quote quite a bit, actually, because it was one of those things where you weren't proud to be an American beforehand. What was your experience beforehand that would make it so that you weren't proud to be an American? And yeah, I think about that quote all the time because I feel like that is either she was not the first person to say it, but she was definitely one of the first mainstream people in American politics to say it.
Right.
And
well, especially
you're starting to wonder how many people actually feel that way. Yeah.
Right. But
BP,
and a lot of the
hold on, let me read this real quick. BP, thank you, says Old Tub and Jorts, you were born in Kentucky. Jay just admitted, mashallah.
Mashallah. Honestly, I probably was. But I was just gonna say that it's becoming more and more mainstream to hate your country, to be unpatriotic, and to find it weird that people are patriotic or they want to showcase or feel some sort of patriotism to their country, opposed to actually fucking hating it with all of your guts. That seemed to be like the righteous thing to feel right now, or the righteous way to be. And it's because we have this infiltration and infection within the media and within
like
these places.
Jay, like I get criticizing the United States like endlessly,
Yes.
criticizing, you know,
we can be
criticizing
better.
the government,
We can.
criticizing our society, criticizing the way we do things, the way we are.
Yes,
But
how
like
useless most of these politicians are. Yes, all of it.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, and at the same time, you know, I think there's a lot of miscommunication that happens when it comes to being proud of your country, because I think there are certain people who will simply just never acknowledge that America has never done anything wrong. Like, yes, we have done a lot of things wrong, and we continue to get a lot of things wrong, regardless of who's in power. And I like that's where like,
but even then,
I disagree with people on the right who like just so super proud of this country, and like if you ever say anything bad about America, you know, you're goddamn you goddamn traitor, you goddamn coward. Like, no, you can definitely criticize things about America and still be proud to be an American. But like what we're seeing right now from people on the left, specifically the far left, is people who are just outwardly anti-American. They are just not proud to be an American, and even if their party is in control, like they want the change now. It's almost, you know, like with this whole Cori Bush thing, you know, she talks about how, and let me pull the tweet up again, just to reference it. You guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. She says, we know what our freedom looks like. End the slavery permitted under the 13th Amendment, end the war on drugs, end police violence, end healthcare, housing, and education apartheid. We are the experts on our own liberation. We won't stop until it's won. I'm almost thinking like this is like millennial-based culture right here. You know, the instant gratification. We need to have that shit now. We need to have change now. If we don't get it, this whole place is a shit. This whole place is garbage. This whole place is shit.
What is like the terms that they use on these things as well? These imaginary fucking situations that are happening.
Jay,
I mean, I get there are
things. Jay, I'll tell you what they are. They're family.
They're family. I mean, even with all of our differences, all of these fucking hardships, all of these fucking imperfections that we have here in the United States, there's still one thing that we are, and that's family.
Family. As we continue on, I mean, look, Not Steve says ending the war on drugs is family. And he did say something about how ending the war on drugs is like, we can all agree on that. Yeah, we can. I mean, look, there are tons of things within that tweet that can definitely be improved. But if you just throw out rhetoric and hyperbole the way she does, like you're not getting anywhere. It's virtue signaling at that point.
Oh,
It
yeah.
drives me nuts. So in light of all that, and I have to hit on this one real quick because this is just crazy. So according to NPR, 4th of July shootings across the country killed more than 180 people. 180 people, Jay. You know, I mean, like, I'm trying to think of a single weekend in which that many people died in a long time, not from COVID. And I can't think of anything prior to that.
Nothing's come to mind for me.
Well, at this point,
I mean, I know when they have a lot.
Society's healed. Society's healed. Let's go.
Chicago shot 100
I don't
people
even think
over a 3-day weekend. Let's go.
It was major. Let's go. Major shootings in Chicago, Texas, Virginia, and Ohio. Those are the major shootings. 540 shootings in total over the course of a 72-hour period starting on Friday. 189 people were killed. 516 people were injured. That's how many people were shot and killed. Shot and killed. That's a fuck ton, Jay. That's a lot. That's 700 people right there.
Defund the police.
Yeah, got to defund the police. In any event, what's great is this follow-up here. Let me see if I could get this real quick. This is from one of our members of our family. Anam, who tweeted out a great side-by-side. This tweet comes from Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot on July 21st, 2020, saying, under no circumstances will I allow Donald Trump's troops to come to Chicago and terrorize our residents. That's the shot. Here's the chaser. Chicago mayor asked Biden for help after bloody July 4th weekend. That's on July 7th, earlier this evening. And then Longby tweeting out, terrorizing troops magically turned into nation's pride in a year. Amazing. Just amazing. Thank you to our member of our family. Thank you, Anon. Perfect side by side and great catch right there. Not many people were able to see that right away. Just because, shootings are almost as American as apple pie. And at the same time, we forget that 700 people should not be shot and 189 of them being killed over a weekend. It's fucking insane.
No, it is. It really is. And they're getting even more. It's becoming even more and more horrible. And you had Nicole Hannah-Jones, that fucking gaba, coming up and also saying, trying to chastise the media for even mentioning that people are worried about this increase in crime that they haven't seen in 20 years. And they're like, oh, here comes the media exaggerating all this kind of shit. And it's like, no, it's not really exaggerating it. People have been worried about this increase of crime, and they're worried, and the amount of people who are worrying is increased, and it's at an all-time high for 20 years. Like, if you go to middle-class minority neighborhoods, or if you go to any neighborhood and you ask them what's the number one thing that concerns you, they're going to say crime, especially if you're in Chicago or in LA or in fucking Baltimore or New York City. And to downplay it the way that she did is hurtful. It really is. And it's tone deaf.
It's very tone deaf. And the fact that she would have that type of stance towards the president that she disagrees with or probably hates, and Donald Trump, and then turns around and says, oh, come on in, Joe. Would love to have you. Our streets are fucking crazy right now. We need, fucking help me. So our final bit, and this has a lot to do with obviously the July 4th weekend, is this 98-year-old World War II vet who played the national anthem at the send-off for the U.S. women's national team. I believe it was against Mexico. And just take a look at this video. Okay, so there was a lot of outrage over that, and I think I don't know, Jay. I watched the video. I watched the angle in which they were standing, and I watched where people were actually where the World War II veteran what was it, Dupree? If I'm correct.
I think you are.
It's Pete Dupree. He was standing to let me try to show you the actual like orientation where everybody is, okay? So you have Pete Dupree over here. You fast forward, obviously. You have Christine Press and I don't know her name, standing and facing towards the crowd. And then you have a number of the athletes on the right-hand side actually turning towards the left. And for some, I don't know where this actually started, but I feel like this needs to be dispelled. I don't think anybody had their back turned towards Pete Dupree.
Right. I don't think so either.
Now the U.S. women's national team might suck for their politics, but like this, I think is as much ado about nothing. And the U.S. U.S. soccer comms department. Let me share this because I had to like make sure that this was like not like I wasn't going insane. U.S. soccer comms tweeted out, to be clear, no one turned their back on World War II veteran Pete Dupree during tonight's anthem. Some U.S. women's national team players were simply looking at the flag on the pole and one end of the stadium. The players all loved Pete, thanked him individually after the game, and signed the ball for him. So the ones who are actually the people are mad about were actually facing the same direction as Pete Dupree, like right. Christine Pratt, like the players that people were mad about,
who didn't have their hand on their chest.
They didn't have their hand on their chest, and you're not like it's not like you're forced to keep your hand on your chest. Some people,
right.
Like I oftentimes like stand with my hands up behind my back, like I'm being gagged like this. Or I'm a Pakistani uncle. I'm going for a walk, sir. I'm going for a walk. Oh, sir. You know that is how the Baijan.
That's how the Baijan
they all walk like this. They don't walk their hands on their side. They do.
No. Very good, sir. Very good.
They do it like this, sir. So
very good, sir.
So yeah, I just I don't understand the outrage over this, and I wanted to unpack it with you because I just don't see it. I don't see it.
I don't see it either. I don't see any of the justification for the outrage or any of it. Some people just wanted to be outraged to be outraged. None of them took a knee. None of them were doing any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they are actually banned from taking knees, which is amazing considering obviously we're American. You should be free. I'm not saying I support people taking knees during the national anthem, but taking away that freedom is almost anti-American.
Kind of is.
Robert Jeffers, thank you, says, Jay, wanted to give you the review of Angel's Evie. Tastes like ass. Which, as you know, is a 10 out of 10. Thanks for the recommendation. Great show, gents. Happy belated 4th. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Appreciate you. Because you're family.
You are family. And I'm glad you enjoyed the taste of ass.
Very good. So anyways, let's see. Faye says, I'm sorry, is Siraj supposed to be our model for proper comportment now? By the way, Jay, how big of an asshole did Eliza rip into me? She ripped a very nice
big one. Yeah, it really, really was great. I think our double team on you was perfect.
Yeah. Fuzzy says, let's be real, it wouldn't be a controversy at all if they were just in the kitchen making Fuzzy a goddamn sandwich. Oh, Fuzzy. As always, we get to our favorite part of the show, and that is Ask Us Anything. And specifically, Habibis, we prefer to keep it family friendly. So go ahead.
So the way I like to eat ass is first I
go let's see. Mitch says, Siraj, my wife says that's called parade rest. Oh, okay. The Big Ray says vaccine song. You want the new one or the original? I'm assuming this one.
Hiya, Pfizer.
Hi, Ben.
You got any extra shots?
Sure, Ben.
Sleeves up.
I'm a Pfizer girl in a COVID world. I'm the classic, mRNA-tastic, 95%. There's no argument. Got no contagion with my vaccination.
Come on, Pfizer, let's go party.
With a mask on.
Come on, Pfizer, let's go travel.
Only if essential. Oh, we're having so much fun.
We'll have to do this again for my second shot.
Oh, I love you, Ben.
Nay M says, Jay, you have the chance to fat slap Guffa the Hut Stelter for 10 minutes, but you must pick one for it to happen. Tongue the bung of Lena Dunham or drink a case of Busch Light during a Habibi Power Hour episode.
Jesus Christ. Well, I would drink the piss. I would drink Busch Light for an entire episode of HBH to slap Stelter for 10 minutes. For sure. I will do that. Busch Light, I mean, it's fine. It's just water. I'll drink water with a little hint of piss to get to slap Stelter. Lena Dunham, that's not a human ass. That's not a human ass. It's like it's asking me, would you go and lick, a pig's ass after diarrhea? No, I will not do that. So I will drink the piss. Yes.
Yeah. You made the family-friendly choice.
I did. Even though I talked about pig's ass.
Josh Finn Cannon says, who are your favorite senators? That is a great question because I have no favorites. I play no favorites. But if I were to say, let's say this. I will say the most based senators, the most based senator regardless is Kirsten Sinema. She is definitely the most based.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites. Tim Scott is one of my favorites.
Tom Cotton, he's pretty based.
He is pretty based. I mean, he has his off-puttings on some issues and stuff like that, but he's pretty based. I do enjoy Tom Cotton from time to time. I do like Ben Sass. I do like him.
Wait, you like Ben's ass?
I love Ben's ass.
You mean Ben
Sassy? Ben? Is it Ben Sassy or is it Ben's ass?
I think it's Ben's ass.
Like Ben's ass.
Ben's ass. Daniel Collins says the Lightning have repeated as champs. Suck at Canada. USA. Fuck you, Canada. Eat a dick.
Fuck. And then
eat a maple syrup covered dick.
Yes.
Janice says, "What does Jay actually do for a living?" Oh, what does Jay actually do for a living? Jay. What do you do, sir? What do you do? Sir, I want to know. What do you do?
I work in sales.
Oh, very, very good. Sir, but you are not doctor. Why are you not doctor? Why are you not doctor, sir?
Because I didn't become an engineer. So I didn't become an engineer. I didn't become a doctor. I went into sales.
Faye, oh, hello, Auntie Faye. Says, Siraj, what are your long-term goals for Habibi's empire, caliphate? I have to say, madam, ma'am, miss, girl, my goals are to grow and conquer.
And to become?
President.
No, family, you fucking... Come on, man. Jesus Christ. It was like the best fucking...
Amazing.
It's so good. It's so good. I so fucking good. Love it.
Perfect timing. Yeah. I mean, honestly, of all the times that we've used it, it's just too good.
This would have been the best.
She says that was a serious question. Okay, so this is my idea. So are you guys, I'm sure you're familiar with like Tim Pool and a lot of these independent folks who like do this shit like every night. It is my goal that Jay and I are able to do a show 5 nights a week, a live stream 5 nights a week. Can we get a guest on? Maybe. Maybe we could get it. Maybe not. Sometimes the best way to get to your goals is often by emulation. And so if you can at least try to find, you have that goal of like replicating what someone else is doing, but you end up finding, things that you do differently that are somewhat more unique to yourself. And that's kind of how you progress and find yourself in, this industry, or just doing something and excelling in your craft. And so that is the goal. And I think it would be a really cool thing to do Habibi Power Hour, like literally every, 5 nights a week.
Right.
And have it so that Jay and I can literally comment on the day's news, have guests on, talk about, these big picture ideas, talk about politics, society, culture, you name it. Of course, it takes a lot of work to get there, and it's going to take some growth. Your support obviously means everything in the world. The fact that you are here means more to me than anything, because you believe Jay and I have something special. You think we have potential to grow in that route. And I'm really hoping that you stick along with us for the ride, because honestly, like, we will obviously we hope to obviously remain the same, true to who we are.
Right.
We understand that like this journey has a lot of ups and downs. And it's going to be a tough one ahead. We just hope that you are patient and can stick along with us for the ride, and hopefully we can deliver a product that you are all proud to say you are part of, and a community that, fosters this type of independent thinking where, we may disagree with each other, but we're not afraid to say it, and we will always have each other's backs regardless.
Because we are
family. Because we're family. Sorry,
Absolutely.
It took me. I was trying to get to it. I was like, my mouse is over here. I gotta drag it off.
It's all good. I mean, the boomer moments wouldn't be. I mean, this is like, family around the table.
Yeah.
Without your boomer moments, it wouldn't be.
That's true. That's true.
It wouldn't be family.
Eric Halverson, thank you, says, will Jay get a CCW if the New York May issue law get overturned by SCOTUS? I don't know what that is. What is a CCW?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that family?
We're always talking about family right now.
Rachel says, Jay, do you study how to eat ass? Read instructional. You should watch gay porn. You should learn so much about rimming. They are experts.
Rachel, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm pretty much an expert on eating ass myself. It's not just, it's not just the gay guys that enjoy it. I mean, Billy, if you're listening, this is your hint right here. Rachel wants you to eat her ass. That's the hint right there.
Sarah Johnson asks, hey, when are you going to add a girl BB to your panel? This is literally racist, this all-male show. Well, if you help us grow, maybe we can bring on more people, and that would include a girl BB. So
could be.
Eliza has expressed interest. Eliza has expressed interest in working with us a little bit more officially. So if we can get to that point where we can bring her on, then that would be great. I would certainly welcome it.
Absolutely. We need a woman in the kitchen.
But of course, Jen Rubin 69 gets first priority.
That's the ultimate goal.
She has to say no first in order for Eliza to get the position. So let's see. Nate B says, Siraj, do you want to be 5 days a week? It's your decision. Just don't do it to be like Tim Pool, not someone to emulate. Well, I only do I wouldn't say I'm doing it to emulate anyone. I'm just looking at it from a perspective of growth. Like if I could do this more often, like maybe not 5 nights a week, but what if we did 3? What if we did like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that was like what we did? That'd be, for me, that would be really cool. Because then we could have a live show 3 nights a week, and we would all have enough time to literally focus on the things that matter to us, and that, of course, being family.
Always.
But also be able to do something that we all love doing and build and grow together.
MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And also, my camera changed because the Canon that I was using, it died. Yeah. I need, I hope, inshallah, it's coming tomorrow.
You fucking boomer.
I am.
So
I'm a boomer.
Zachary Wilson says, you mentioned Megyn Kelly at the beginning of the show. How about her as a guest for Habibi Power? Hey, it could happen. She signed a deal with SiriusXM this past week. And I think it goes into effect. Let's see. I want to say I think in September or something like that. So maybe during that time we could possibly get her on. I mean, I have a connect. We do follow each other on Twitter, and we have exchanged messages. So definitely, I would not be opposed to it. Now, would she agree to be on our show? That's another thing.
It is. But women love to be on our show. I mean, we had Eliza, then we had Shu.
We had Bridget.
We had Bridget. Katie, and then we have Carol, and then
we got Carol coming up. We're trying to get got a few other people in the works.
Beta, we got a bunch.
Batia. We got
Batia.
I think Lawrence. I think
I always
joining us on the show.
Because Bait is house in Arabic, and when I see her name, I'm always thinking about bait.
Bait.
Like
beta. Like beta. Yeah. We tried to get Rose McGowan. She had like her own thing going on. Unfortunately, she was in the middle of she's living in Mexico, and the deal with her was that she actually was caught in the middle of a shootout. So I gave her all the time in the world. I said, you take all the time you need. Don't worry about it. And we'll just, whenever she's ready to come back, we'll welcome her. Faye says, Habibis, pray for me. My husband just scored Euro Cup tickets through work, so he's jetting back to Mother England tomorrow. I'm going to be a football widow for over a week. Well, that's what you do for family.
We're family.
Yeah, we're family.
So let's go to Vegas.
Yeah. And we'll get crazy.
I'm down for that. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's be families in Vegas.
Yeah. But yeah, well, I mean, look, the outreach has been there. Jay and I have done tons of outreach. It's literally just the manpower in getting these shows out. And that's why, honestly, that's the only reason why we haven't been able to produce as much, is because literally me and Jay, and then we have been ramping Spencer up to try to help us out a little bit more. But because like we've been doing this for so long, and Spencer is still, fired, getting sacked every day. It's tough to do your job. So, but anyways, so Habibis, unless there's anything else, I really have to go pee. I'm sure you have to pee, Jay, and I might be gaming later after this. I might be playing some Dark Souls 3, or Jay, if you want. I don't know if you want to play some Valheim, maybe.
That sounds good. I need to go get some food.
You get some food. I'm going to get some food too, and then maybe we'll meet up later on here. But I love you all, Habibis. Habibis, you have been very blessings for us tonight. We were so glad you could be here. We're not sure if we're going to have a premium episode this week. We are going to just wing it if things go well. If there's a lot of news to cover, we'll do an episode. If not, we don't have a guest scheduled this week, but we might do something. So, Habibis, I'm Siraj Hashmi.
I'm Jack Kobbe.
And we're the Habibi Bros. Love you all. Hope you have a good night. Peace.
And remember,
have a very happy night, sir. And madam, sir, be good.
And remember, we are all
family. We are all hold on. Nothing is stronger than family. Get that screenshot, sir. Get it.
Nothing, Habibi.
Get it.
Nothing,
Nothing, sir, is stronger than family.
Nothing.
Family. And good family is even better. Bad family, very bad. Very, very, very bad.
Not good.
Okay, sir. Okay, see you. Okay, night.